Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game that we're making. And I am really excited about this game that we're making because we are getting really close to finishing up. We have entered the final hallway. This is essentially the final boss's lair. Basic idea is we're going to go up to this platform here, a big old door is going to open, and boom, final battle. But there's a little bit of work still to do along the way to the boss. For one thing, I need to do something about this because apparently, yeah, that little secret pathway actually is kind of visible. In fact, I can see it now. Kind of weird that I wasn't able to notice that before. Maybe because the lighting in my room was different. In any case, we need to do that a little bit differently so that the path doesn't stand out. So I'm going to get rid of the shady area and just have it like I did with the previous secret test, where it's just blank spaces. Meaning this blank graphic. This definitely is not going to be visible, no matter what your screen's brightness may be. Something I did off camera, by the way. In fact, before I bring it up, I need to load up the test play real quick. We're still underneath the floating island, by the way, in the test play. I need to finish setting up the escape. But for all intents and purposes, everything down here is done. Oh, I take that back. Not everything is done, because I just noticed that down there on the lower right, we don't have the bridge section. I should fix that. Yeah, let me fix that first. That's going to be a simple process. So, under the castle, need to make sure that these intro events take over to page 1, right? Event 4, page 1. Take over to 2, page 1. Which one is 2? Oh, that's during the opening of the cinematic. No, don't do that. Take over to page 2. So all these other pages take over to page 2 of this. That way the bridge pieces appear properly. Alright, now that should be set up. So... okay, that's easily fixed. I can just move the save point up a space. That way it's off camera whenever it appears. There. I assume that, yeah, that's off camera, and down there's off camera, so now this is going to be visibly not visible until you're ready for it to be visible. I mean, ignoring the fact that I was still sitting where the save point previously was. Should be working now, though. So, back to the stuff that I was going to point out earlier. It occurred to me that Daristrix had this poison breath attack and he never used it, and I was trying to figure out how to coax him into using it, and it turns out that AI characters, for whatever reason, are very hesitant to use poison attacks, even if they go against all enemies. So what I had to do was I had to change Fire Breath to a special attack. That way, the player can go into plan, and if they want Daristrix to use poison, they can be all, hey, just use magic. And that would basically mean that Daristrix's only option is to use poison. Of course, he's also got Roar in the magic option, but he's not going to use that. That's something that only the player can use, and only outside of battle. Speaking of which, I also found out that special attacks cannot be used outside of battle. I tried making Roar a special attack as well, and it just was not, it would not let me use it. So by the way, healing spells as well, that's the same situation. If it's a special attack, you cannot use it outside of battle. Kind of interesting that. Alright, got that set up. What's another thing? Oh yeah, I remember. Not you guys. We're gonna go ahead and pass through that custom battle that I made earlier. Just to point something else out. Not to mention, we actually have to play through this fight again in order to properly trigger the exit of this place. Oh, Sarasur, this is the thing that I was trying not to show you. So, hi! Okay, so, just a thing here, just real quick. I made it so that Jenny is the first one to get struck because, Darius Rix is the optional character, so he's kind of like an extra life, so I figure he should be not the first one to go out. Alright, I'm gonna kind of cheese this. Holding circle. Not gonna worry about actually dodging or going over the things properly. Oh, that was another thing I wanted to do, I just remembered. Oh well, moving on. Ah yeah, there was something out here I wanted to do too. So I'll go ahead and do that, quick save, and let's go ahead and do some editing. Alright, first thing, when dealing with mid-boss, I decided that, yeah, I actually do kind of want him to pass off an item. And for consistency, I need to go back in there and find out specifically what the message is like when you receive an item. Except I can't do that yet because I don't have it set up so that we can go back under there yet. So let me first take care of that. No, not the castle intro, castle outside. And, no, not take over, take us to the lair. I believe I had it. So it would put us there. I also need to turn on the switch. Which switch was it that I had set up for whenever we're coming in from the other direction? Switch 8. I wasn't sure because I was using a different switch for whenever we're coming out from under. So switch 8. And just to make sure that does get turned off, right? No. I want to make sure to do that then. Kind of think of it, when we enter the castle from over here, I want the same effect to take place. Do I have that set up yet? Yeah, yes I do. Alright, I'm gonna quickly move over to an enemy that guarantees dropped an item. Just so that I can see what the messaging on that is like. Okay, I know the enemies that always drop things are hiding around up here in this channel. There they are. Alright, quickly get rid of them. District's guarded. Probably because since these guys only have 1 HP, he's not gonna poison them because reasons, I guess. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Poison doesn't actually kill you in RPG Maker 1. Okay, received, and then the item name and exclamation mark. So now I know. Receive. I decided that we need another situation where we could get an ice stick. Because we got this magical ice stick that can really put the wall up on enemies, but you're probably generally not going to try using it like for an ice spell because there's a chance that it would break. But by giving the player a second one here, that kind of encourages them to try one of them out. Because if the one breaks, they'll still have the other one. Oh, and of course I need to actually give him the ice stick. So inventory... ice stick. Now of course I've already passed this point, so it's not actually going to do that for me. Oh, something else I did off camera, by the way, after the fight. For the sake of consistency, I have... Did I not do that? I guess I didn't do that. Well, guess what? I'm gonna do it now. I'm setting it to the dungeon theme at the end of that fight for consistency before the information about your prizes comes up. Because that's what happens normally whenever you fight a battle in RPG Maker 1. Music comes back before the information comes up. What else? Okay, set Jenny the first to be zapped. Dungeon music. I also removed this snapshot from the boss opening because if you wound up losing to the boss, you would go through the boss opening again, thus you would have the snapshot taken again, so you'd have multiple copies of the same snapshot. Another thing I did is click the wrong option. Whatever, I can still point it out from here. Where's... oh, I was about to say, where is Jenny? No, she's still there. Okay. So, I noticed that Monkey C's name has been kind of funny looking, and for the longest time, I just thought, well, maybe it's because of the quotations marks. No, it's actually because I put 2 spaces in his name instead of 1. So, I have changed it so that there's only 1 space. Mind you, on the test play, it still is 2 spaces, because apparently his name is saved along with, like, his level and stats. Even though you can't actually change it during the game. Kind of weird, that. And that is all the stuff that I did off camera. Set warp back to the Underside, just did that. Let me go ahead and do a full test of that. So if we come over here, yeah, and then we leave again. Yeah. Okay, so that is okay. Something else I need to do after we come out. Actually, there's a couple of things I want to do. First, let me go back to the mid-boss lair. I'm going to go ahead and remove these pieces. These being the bridge pieces, because I've changed my mind in regards to the I've changed my mind in regards to the outside of the castle, where we have all of the pieces under the bridge. I decided, no, maybe not all under the bridge. Maybe I'll like have a gap here. That way, it's kind of like earlier when we had the bridge pieces under the castle, where they kind of appeared after the camera faded in. Except here I have it set up so the screen doesn't fade in until after they appear. I decided, nah, I don't really want to do that. I'm just going to remove this piece so that the other pieces appear off camera and we don't need to make the player wait for the camera to fade in. On that note, let's go ahead and remove the color changing. Then they take over to the event 8 page 1. We don't need to slowly fade in if the screen's already faded in. And something else I need to do actually. When we're faded in, instead of switching off 8, we're switching off 22. 22 being the switch that signifies, hey, this is where we end up. So do the scripting for when we end up here. Because otherwise, without turning that off, leaving the castle and then coming back will set you over here instead of the rope proper. Have other entries to the castle take over to bridge pieces. Oh, that's a good idea. We need to make sure the bridge pieces are rezzed every time we come here. So you have to do it as well. And you definitely have to do it. It doesn't necessarily have to be done the first time we come here though, because at no point when we're up here can we see down there. So don't need to do that there. I have a note to myself that says, make sure bridge switch is reset. Oh, that is also important, yes. Back under the castle. So switch off 18. Yeah, that's right. Switch off 18 because when the map reloads, there's a possibility that the bridges are in a different place than they were when you left the map, so this ensures that everything is hunky-dory there. So do I have that everywhere else? No. Well then, it's a good thing I made note to myself to check, because it's actually really important that all of these reset the position of the bridge. Actually, cancel out of that. We could just... what am I thinking here? Yeah, we can just have this event be the one to do that. So we don't need all these to do that. Switch off 18. Okay, so that's fixed up. Yeah. Okay, I'm ready to move on. So, we need to create some monsters for the final hallway. Because the final hallway is a little bit of a length, and therefore it would probably be beneficial to have some random encounters in there. Not in the secret section of the map, but just along the way up. But I don't really have any monsters yet. So let's go ahead and set up some monsters. So let's see here. This is the final section of the castle, so only the biggest monsters would be hanging out here. What are our options? And also, I don't suppose anybody is still in the chat, because you could perhaps help me out with choosing some sort of thing to put in this hallway. So we got like large monsters, Cyclops, Minotaur, Deep Dragon, Phoenix, Death, Great Demon, Goddess, Iron Giant, Ifrit, Jinn, Hydra, Ashura, Water Dragon, Foul Dragon, Death Pixie, Bloodworm, Dinosaur, Computer, Guardian, Durin, Pegasus. Those are the large monsters, so we need to choose one of those. Unfortunately, I don't think anybody's in the chat right now, so Rosser poofed after I told him not to look at the thing that I was about to do. So, whoops. Well, let's go ahead and... what would be... you know, we're dealing with fire enemies. Let's go with this guy. And we're gonna call him not Ifrit. Along with that, I think I'll also have one of the giant monsters. Kraken army? No, I won't use the army. Horned whale, overlord, dragon god, dragon. I think we'll go with Kraken. So those are our two monsters that will be appearing in this particular room. So, not Ifrit and Kraken. Probability? It's a short hallway, so I might actually increase this just a little bit. Do I want to have a different song than the regular battle theme for this section? Maybe, maybe not. No. Let's go ahead and have the same song that plays whenever we're... the hallway theme for this. And let's see how frequently these battles take place whenever we're going through the hallway. Under normal circumstances, we would not be standing here where we could see those appear. Just so you know. Actually, before I go in there, let's actually make sure this works properly. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and create a hard save here, so that will officially be done with the Underside. And let me tell you, I am really excited about that. We have been on the underside of this floating castle for quite a while, it seems like. I'm even more excited that we're finally almost done making this game. A lot of this make-through has not been full of excitement for me because of how long this has taken. Okay, we went through this whole hallway without getting into a single encounter. We're definitely going to raise the encounter rate in there. Might be better being at 3. But yeah, this has been such a long process, more so at YouTube than Twitch, that it feels like maybe this almost went on too long. But now that we're actually almost at the end, I feel like, hooray, we're almost at the end! Oh, by the way, even though the battle music is the same song as the music for the hallway, we still have to have a little jingle and restart the boss theme, or battle theme. So the encounter rate is... okay, yeah, the encounter rate is probably good enough at 3. I got into 2 encounters there. Make another trip. I mean, I'd prefer to ensure that there's 2 random encounters you hit along the way. But at the same time, I don't want to annoy the player by having random encounters close to each other, especially since these guys are actually going to be pretty tough. They're going to have quite a bit of HP, especially compared to some of the early enemies. They're going to be like almost boss level sort of health and difficulty. After all, these are the elite members of the bad guy. They're his primary guards, the last force before we reach the final boss. Now, with that said, we need to actually make them a force to be reckoned with, and we will do that after this first episode break. We'll be right back! And when we come back, I guess I need to make some stuff up on my own, some spells and stuff, unless somebody is here now. To anybody who may be watching, your input might be actually inputful. Help me come up with some attacks and stuff for these characters, for these last monsters.